Hey everyone, Crosstown Gamer here, and today we're going to be continuing our playthrough of Falling Sky, the Gallic Revolt against Caesar. I know I don't have all the coin games there; they're back, they're up on the shelf, so don't worry, they're not gone. I just needed some space for some work-related things, but they're all there. So we're going to continue our playthrough of Falling Sky. When last we left, this was the map, the situation here. Again, we're playing as the Romans against the bot factions, and we've only gotten through a couple of cards so far in a number of videos, so I'm hoping to go a little bit faster this time. But with speed comes room for mistakes, so as always, please make sure to point those out in the comments so I can hopefully correct them in time. But anyway, without further ado, here we go. Just a quick status update. We only have one allied tribe on the map, but we have a bunch of subdued tribes, which is good. So we're sitting pretty at 14. We need 16 to win. And we have 5 off-map legions. Only one has fallen so far, so I feel like we're doing okay on that front. None of the other factions are super close to their victory condition, I think. So if we go over here, we are eligible and the Adui player is eligible. And the card that we're looking at is Drought. So what does this do? Adui's up first. They've got some special instructions for the event. Kind of a bummer to get this so early in the round because everyone's resources are going to drop if they end up taking the event. I don't want to do this, so hopefully the Adui won't do it. But they drop the resources rounded down, they add some devastated marker, and then everyone in that space ends up pulling out some of their forces and removing them from the board. It's a good way to get legions to go to Fallen, which the Adui player doesn't necessarily want to do, so hopefully they don't want to do this event, but we'll find out soon enough. So let's check their flowchart and see what's happening here. Are the Adui first on the upcoming card but not the current card? That's a no, because they are upcoming. They're first on this current card. By sequence of play, can they use the event? Yes, they are first eligible, so they get the option of using the event. Is the event ineffective or capability in the final year or no Adui? Well, no, it's not ineffective. It's definitely not the final year. We're on like the fourth card. And it's not no Adui, that's this symbol on the card. So we have this symbol. So I think this is going to be a no. It's also effective because they can take it to remove enemy pieces. So we're going to look at the instructions on the event, and let's look for Drought. There it is. Okay. Select factions, regions, and pieces to remove to target player Averni and or Belgae only, not non-player. Well, since we're the Romans, there is no player Averni and there is no player Belgae, and they're not going to target themselves, then they're not going to target us as the Roman player. So it sounds like they are not going to take this event because by way of the instructions, it becomes ineffective. They choose not to target anyone on the map. It's kind of a bummer. I wish they would. Well, no, I'm glad they're not going to take it because I don't want the resources to drop, but it would be kind of cool up here if they started taking out pieces that weren't ours. So they're not going to target us. That means we have to kind of backtrack here and then go down this path. So battle would force loss on enemy leader, ally, citadel, or legion. The only space they're in that contains other forces is Mandubii, and they have an ally there, but they can inflict 2 loss points against the Arverni player, and those 2 losses aren't enough to remove the ally here. So, and since there's no citadel, legions, or leader, then I think this is going to be a no, because they can't actually force a loss on any of those things. So are there 0 to 4 Adui warbands on the map, or rally would place a Citadel ally or 3+ pieces? Let's just double check their rally. It ends up to the number of allies there. So in order to place 3+ pieces in a space, they would need to have 3 allied tribes there. Yeah, if Adui allies or Citadel place warbands equaling up to their number. Yep, so that is not going to happen because they have 2 up here, so they could place 2 warbands, or they could place 1 here and 1 here. So it's not looking like that's going to be true because none of the other stuff was there either. There's more than 4 warbands on the map, and they can't place a Citadel or ally anymore because the only places they're in don't have any more open spots available for them. So this is a no. Do they have 0 to 3 resources and roll a 1 through 4? They have 10 resources, so that's their blue marker there. So this is a no again. And we don't have to roll to get the 5 or 6 because that's only if we were taking care of this criteria. So they're going to march. Leave 1 Adui warband per region and lose no control. So we're going to move from one region to a region where we're going to add 1 hidden Adui warband in up to 3 regions. So remember, in Falling Sky, we're paying for the origin space, not the destination spaces. So we're going to pick 1 region to move from, and we're going to add 1 hidden Adui warband in up to 3 adjacent regions. And we're going to do this to enemies with allies or citadels, and among these, to enemies with the most allies and citadels. So let's look at the map. They can march from any of these 3 regions, and they're going to pick 1. Now, they can't lose control. So if you look at this region, there's 5 enemy pieces here. It's sort of hard to see on the camera, but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And they have 6 things here. So moving anybody out of this would cause them to lose control. So they don't want to do that there. That leaves these 2 regions. And to be able to get regions with allied citadels or pieces, it would make sense to move out of either one of these. But I think they're going to prioritize this space because they can move 1 up here and 1 down here. That's more effective. Usually with the bots, you're trying to make it the most effective that you possibly can. It doesn't always work out. Sometimes you do have to choose randomly, but I don't think this is one of those situations. Because if they were to go here, I guess they could move 1 down here and then 1 up here. That also works. So it looks like in that case, let's just reread it again, making sure we're not missing anything. And then after this, we're going to move to Adui control 1 region beyond or among whatever is there. So that we can pick the other region for. For example, if we picked here and we put a unit here and a unit down here, then we could take control by moving from this region and going into this region from the Arverni. If I was a player that, fitting to the constraints of what they're talking about, I think that's what I would do. Alternatively, even if they picked this and they moved 1 here and 1 here, they could still pick this spot and move 2 in. So I think, actually, yeah. I don't see a logical choice here among those. We're tied. Both of these fit the criteria. So I think we are going to randomly decide for them. And we're going to do that by rolling a die. And we're going to say they're going to pick the region Biturgis. Again, sorry if the pronunciation is way off. Like, I don't know how to pronounce, any of these names, or Avaricum. And so if it's a 1, 2, or 3, we're going to choose this. And if it's a 4, 5, or a 6, we're going to choose this space. So if we roll over here, 5. So they do end up picking Bibracte. And so they want to go into spaces. They have 2 warbands that they can move. And they're not going to go here because there are no allies. And they're going to spaces with the most enemy allies or citadels. So this has 1 and this has 1. And they have 2 that are able to move because they're going to leave 1 in here. So 1 is going to march up to this region, and 1 is going to march down to this region. And now this loses Arverni control because there's only 1 and 1. So that I'm going to keep it here because we're about to gain control for them. So that was 1 region to activate, and for marching, that costs 1 per origin region, 2 if devastated. So again, this is devastated, but that's the destination region, so we don't have to pay double for that. So that'll cost 1 resource for that. And then secondly, we're going to move, and then I think it's a typo. It should say move to add a Dewey control to 1 region beyond or among what's above. So this is a separate bullet point, so we're not locked into using the same region. So we can use Biturgis in this situation to gain control of 1 additional region. And they're going to do it with the fewest allies possible needed. Sorry, I was glancing at the flowchart again. So now they actually have a choice. From Biturgis, it would cost 1 warband to move into here and gain control, or it would cost 1 warband to go into here and gain control. So again, since it doesn't directly specify on the sheet here, then it's left up to us. We can look in the rules, but I don't think it's going to be... Oh, I opened right up to the page. That's pretty funny. Okay. March. Warbands to gain control from any region. Then, if possible, move more ones. Possibly in addition to control just added, or to add control to a destination above. It just says possibly. To 1 region. Yeah, okay. So again, it doesn't explicitly state a priority in that second bullet point of being someplace with enemy pieces. So we're going to roll again. This time it's going to be 1, 2, 3 is Pictonis, and 4, 5, 6 is the Arverni Gergovia region. So 1, 2, 3 or 4, 5, 6. 6. So, man, where were these high rolls when I needed to get my fort to survive? So they're going to go here with 1 of their forces. That will give them control, and their victory condition isn't modified because they just need to have more allied tribes than the other faction with the most, which is currently the Belgae at 7. And similarly, the Arverni just need allied tribes and off-map legions, so control doesn't affect their victory condition either, so we don't move anything up on the track, except we do pay for 1 resource for the march. Great. So that was the command and special ability. Oh man, that does kind of suck that they didn't do the event, because now we're stuck with either doing the event ourselves, which I don't want to do. Yeah, I want those resources. We stand to lose the most resources from that. So I don't want to do the event, but now we're stuck with a limited command. So we can only do a command in 1 region, and we cannot do a special ability. If we had a full menu of options, I was going to battle in these 2 areas and then besiege, which would end up allowing us to remove an allied tribe before. But that's okay. We can battle here still, and I think we're going to be pretty effective with that. I'm not so alarmed with the Arverni yet. We kind of have this buffer zone going with the Adui player, which is really nice. And so I'm really focusing down on the Belgic player at this point in time. So we get to go, we get to battle, and we get to pick, I'm going to pick Atrebates as the region. So battle, it'll cost 2 resources per region, and more if it's devastated, but it's not. In each region in turn order, in this order, sorry, we're going to select another faction to defend. It's going to be the Belgic player. They're the only people there. And then they may opt to retreat. And now is the question. I don't think the bots are going to retreat. Gee whiz. Does it say specifically on there? I know I think I looked this up in like the first video. Or the second video. Pointers. Let me pause here and I'm going to check if they retreat. I don't think they will though. Okay, non-player retreat. I am so confused by this sentence here, so I'm actually going to continue along, but I'm going to look this up after the fact. If anyone's an expert on this, let me know so that I can do this in the future without too much hassle. They're going to retreat. Non-player factions are going to retreat when needed to ensure the survival of their last defending piece. So if we look here, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 lost points. Actually, I think when it's Caesar, when it's Caesar, then these are ended up being doubled. The legions are doubled. So 2, 4, 6, 7, 8 losses, and they have 5 pieces. So a retreat would ensure the survival of their last defending piece because they will take half losses, which means 4, and they have 5 pieces here. When they retreat, though, they're going to lose the allies first. So either they don't retreat and they lose everything, or they do retreat and one warband gets away. So based on the first bullet point, I believe that satisfies the condition, so they will. If Roman, so that's not going to happen because we're Roman player, they're not non-player. The last sentence, though, I think it's just like a run-on sentence that just confuses me. If defending without a fort or citadel, which is true, and a retreat itself would not remove any defending pieces, I don't know what that means, when they cannot guarantee inflicting at least half the losses against the attacker that they will suffer. So half the losses against the attacker would be 4. They cannot guarantee inflicting half of those because they're just going to get outright slaughtered. So I think that's what it's saying is like if they could inflict half the amount of losses that they would have received, then potentially they're going to retreat. But anyway, they're going to retreat because it's going to ensure the survival of their last remaining piece. And they're going to hopefully retreat to join their leader with the greatest number of its own pieces if possible. And so they're going to do that. They're going to retreat into, what is this? Nervii region. So they're going to retreat. We basically have already gone through what it means to battle in this situation. There won't be a counterattack because they've declared retreat. So they're going to take half losses, which rounds down to 4 because, just so you can see on the chart here, 2 per legion if defending versus Caesar, and they are defending versus Caesar. So it's half loss plus 1 per leader. So half loss for the warbands is 1, and then we've got 6 from the legions, so that makes 7, and then 1 for Caesar makes 8. So they're going to miss out on. So it gets rounded down. Sorry, divided by 2, halved, to 4, and they've got 5 things. And when they retreat, the stationary things, the things they're leaving behind, get eliminated first. So 1, 2, that goes back to their sheet, and then 3, 4, and they don't get to counterattack because they're retreating, and this ends up going up here, and they're allowed to do that because they control this region. Then their pieces go back on their faction board, like so, and the Belgic player gets victory with control and allies, and they just lost 2 allies, so I think they're going to go down 2. We already had control of this space, but now we've effectively kicked them completely out. We've walled them up into the north, which is pretty awesome. So that was our limited command. Bummer we didn't get to battle here as well and do the besiege, because I think it's a really cool move. And this costs us 2 resources, 1, 2, and we subdued 2 more tribes, so we get 2 victory points there. And now we are actually slated. We are above our victory point threshold. It's a little dangerous to do because the bots usually target you if you're above the victory point threshold, and we can't win on the first winter card anyway. We have to make it all the way to the end because we're playing against the bots, and that's how it works. So that's what we did. Now we'll swippy swap our eligibility, and we will draw the next card. Remy Influence. It's a Belgic card. So shifting loyalties, choose 1 capability of any faction and remove it from play. There aren't any capabilities. We had a chance to take one earlier. I'm glad we didn't. We ended up marching instead because the Belgic player would potentially just remove it right now. So let's check out their flowchart to see what they do. So, Ambiorix or 4+ Belgic warbands where non-German enemy has ally, Citadel, Legion, or 4+ pieces. Yep, they've got... This meets the criteria. This meets the criteria. Okay. So, yes. Now they're going to battle only where the Belgic losses are less than the enemies, and there's no loss on Ambiorix. They don't have to worry about the loss on Ambiorix, so... No, for the first part. They're going to check if they're going to ambush, rampage, or battle, or enlist, before battle or enlist. Enlist is cool because basically the Belgic player gets to treat the Germanic tribes as their own pieces for a little bit of time, which is really neat. And when I played this 4-player, I was the Belgic player, and I used enlist a lot, and I took the German legions and got them like all the way down into this region. It was pretty awesome. Beside the point, they're not going to ambush because they don't have any hidden warbands anywhere, and it's required that they have hidden warbands in order to ambush locations with more hidden Belgae than defenders. So since they have 0, that's not going to work. Then Rampage, similarly, I believe they need hidden warbands for this too. Regions with hidden Belgic warbands, and within 1 region of Ambiorix. So for ambush, it says if no ambush, rampage before battle, or enlist per boxes below. So we go down here, can't rampage, so if none, enlist. If battle, enlist Germans as Belgae, only where battle's already, and... do we have to check this first? Oh yeah, we have to check for enlist. So where there's Germans basically already, and we can use them to absorb the losses, we're going to be battling here and here potentially, so that's not going to matter. So they would enlist after the battle. Then we check the boxes, and we want to check to make sure that the Belgic losses are less than the enemy's losses. So if we battled here, Belgic player could inflict 2 losses, and then because Vercingetorix is here, it would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 losses against. So that's definitely not going to happen. They would suffer far more losses here if they battled. Down here, they can inflict 2, which gets halved to 1 because of the fort. And then we would inflict 1, 2, 3 to the face. I mean, like they can't absorb. They don't have a citadel or fort. Or citadel, sorry. They don't get forts. So it looks like neither of those actually work. So it's a long-winded thing to check just to basically say we're not going to battle. But we're not going to do that because they're only going to do that where the losses are less than the enemies. Is Belgic first on the upcoming card, but not the current card? And roll a 1 through 4. Yes, that's true. They're first on Remy Influence. They're not first here. Though, I mean, one could make the argument that they're first on this card because they're the first eligible. But I'm going to take this to, I do want to double check that actually. Pass or event if the initial might pass in order to be first eligible on the next card. So check faction. Regardless of faction eligibility cylinders. This is why we read the rules. They're a little bit more clear than the playbook. So the situation I was concerned about was saying, well, they're not first on this card, but they are first eligible on this card. So does that count? But no, it's regardless of this. They're not the first symbol here, and they are the first symbol here. So now we have to roll for them because if they get a 1 through 4, they're going to pass. If they get a 5 or a 6, they are going to continue. So 1 through 4, a 6. Again, geez. Okay. So that's a no. Can they play the event? Yes. Is the event ineffective or capability in final year or no Belge? It's ineffective. Because they would remove a capability, but there are no capabilities. So yes. Rally would add Belgic ally, Citadel, 3+ warbands, or get Belgic control. No for the ally, but potentially for the Citadel. I'm trying to see no, it doesn't look like they get any options for Citadels. So then no ally, no Citadel, 3+ warbands, or they get to add Belgic control. Well, down here we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 to their 5. They could rally and get 1 warband here. That won't give them control. That will make us lose control though, but it's a no. And they have 0 to 3 resources. They have 4 resources. I can check right there, 4. So that's a no. Then they're going to march. 2, add control to up to 2 regions. First in Belgica with the most warbands able. Except 1 warband per origin while losing no Belgic control. So similar to the Adui, we don't want to lose control and we want to leave at least one. They want to leave at least 1 person in there, but they want to gain control of as many areas as possible. Add control up to 2 regions within Belgica. So the only place within Belgica that they don't have control currently is down here. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 pieces. They can possibly move 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They could... Oh, they can't move any pieces from here because they would lose control. I was going to say they could kind of tag team and go in there. That's not going to happen. So none there or outside Belgica with the fewest warbands needed to take control. So in this, they don't need to leave 1 behind. Fewest to take control. They have 5 pieces here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 here. So they would need to march in 2 warbands. to gain control of that region. Yeah, and here's the thing. This is, they said, in up to 2 regions within these priorities, and then 1 here. So what I'm wondering is, well, they don't want to lose control, but they don't have control here. Would they end up marching with 3 down here, get control, and then march with these in here, get control? I think so. Outside Belgica with fewest needed to take control. I think, let's roll with it. I think that's... You can yell at me in the comments. I'm only making it harder for myself, so I don't know why whenever I get a choice and I'm going to make it harder for myself, I'm going to do that first. So they're going to march from here into here with the fewest warbands needed to take control. So this flips. They get 2 points for that because that's the population of 2, and they want to control as much population as possible. So then they need, so again, we have 5 here, they have 2. So they need to march in 4 warbands from here into here. Now they have 6 pieces. We only have 5. No. 1, 2, 3. Oh, no, there's 6. Yeah, I can't count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So they actually need another piece. And this particular criteria did not stipulate that they need to leave 1 warband in. So that's what they're going to do. They keep control of this because there's 3 pieces versus 1 Germanic piece there. They get another point. And they moved from 2 regions, so that'll cost them 1, 2 resources. Then, so notice it says up to 3 regions because the third one... Oh, no, that's to add control in up to 2 regions. They're moving into up to 3 regions. Okay. With leader alone to 1 region. If to another region. With leader alone to 1 region above if needed to join the most Belgic pieces able, or to another region to end leader where greater than 3 Belgic warbands. That's basically saying they're going to move their leader in here as well. So they've taken control with fewest warbands to take control. I think then, since it's fewest, I know it's sequential though, so they're going to do the 2, and they're going to do it with their leader. This is basically saying after you've determined this, figure out where your leader's going to go. So I think that's what they're going to do. Then they're going to enlist, because they always do a special ability if able. So if battle, enlist, no. So if none, enlist after German command to add free German command in 1 region. Battle if they can do an enemy loss. The Germanic people are not with any other factions, so that's not going to happen. March 2+ and most Germans able from Belgica or Germania to Roman, Aedui, or Arverni control. They can't do that because they're going from Belgica. Oh yeah, they can. They can march a warband from Belgica into a place with Roman control. So they can do that. To a place it's a player's control too. Yeah, that's going to happen. And they're going to march in place with 2+ revealed. Oh yeah, and they can't do this. There's no revealed Germanic pieces, so they're not going to do that part of it. Oh no, march 2+. They only have 1 that they're able to do that with. So They're not going to do that. They're going to rally to place a piece at an ally or with the most... Let me go back. I think I went over that a little too fast. So they're going to march 2+ and most Germans available. So that could be, here or here, but they're going into a place with Roman control or another faction's control. They can only march one space, so they're going to get blocked here and here. They could march from here into here, but it's not 2+, it's only 1. So, and they're not going to march in place because what that does is it either removes a scouted marker or it flips it back from active to hidden again, or revealed to hidden. So they're not going to do that. Then they're going to rally to place a piece at an ally or with the most warbands able. There's 2 places where they have allies. The Germanic tribes do. So they're going to do that. Here's the Germanic table. So they can march. Oops, sorry, they're rallying. Doesn't cost anything because they don't do that. So if Germanic control, place an ally, if possible. Oh yeah, and that's what they said. They want to place an ally. So that's possible in this region here. So that's what they'll do. The German player will place an allied tribe in the subdued region of Ubii. And because that was subdued, the Romans end up losing a point because it's no longer subdued. So yeah, they're going to place the Germanic ally and then also place Germanic warbands in each region up to the number of Germanic allies there. Ooh. Each region. Rally each. I think that's specific, though, to my stars. Okay, well, rally to place a piece ally. Most warbands able. So they did this. They're only selecting one region. Oh yeah. German command's always in one region. Yeah, okay. So they just did it in the one spot. But then also place warbands up to the number of Germanic allies there. So they also get to place 2 warbands in here. Gosh, I hope that's right. Yeah. Well, based on the card, it's like they get to do it in one region, and the card says specifically they get to place the allied, and then they also get to do the thing. So, bummer. Oh wait, but the Germanic enlist... I'm sorry. I don't think that's actually true anymore. I forgot how this works. Treat Germanic warbands as Belgic for this, including... Okay. Free Germanic command in one region. No, they did that. Okay. We're good. So that was their command and special ability. Then the Arverni player, again, this is ineffective for them, so we'll see what they end up doing. Vercingetorix, or Tenor where Romans or a Dewey have ally Citadel or Legion. No. Again, there's no spot with 10 warbands. Vercingetorix is not with a Dewey or Romans, so no. They can use the event, yes. It's ineffective. We determined this, yes. 0 to 8 warbands on the map. They have 12. Or Rally would place 2+ allied citadels or 6+ pieces. Rally. Resource per region. So 2+ allies. They can only do it where they have control. So here, we'll place an ally. That's 1. Oh, sorry, they can do it anywhere. if they have, control, they can place 1. Otherwise, they place warbands equal to the number +1 of those. So down here they could get 2 warbands. I don't think this is necessarily true. I know we're like way over time now too, but I want to get through this card. Let me double check on their. So it's 8.7.3. Let me double check. Okay, yeah, I'm just. It's been a long day, so that's probably why I'm kind of stumbling over this. It shouldn't be that hard. They would either need to be able to place 2 allies, which they can't do because they have a citadel here already, and there's only 1 slot. And the only other place they can do that is either with Vercingetorix, but there's no slots available, or where they have control, and that's the only spot. So then you got to check if they can add 6 warbands through rallying. They would place an ally here, but they could place 1, 2, because they get a number of allies +1 when they do this. And they can do devastated, but it costs them more. So they can do 2 there. They would get 0 because they're doing the thing there. They would just get 2 here as well because of the citadel. So that's 4. And then with Vercingetorix, places ally plus. So let's see. If Averni leader ally or citadel place warbands equal to their number +1. So they could place 2 here because they have Vercingetorix here. And so leader +1 is 2. So we get 2 and then 4, 6. So they can place 6. Where the heck is it? It's rally. 6 plus pieces, yes. Rally wherever able to place a piece, and they're going to do that in 1, 2, 3, 4 regions, one of which is devastated. So 3 regions cost 1 each. This one costs 2 because it's devastated, for a total of 5 resources that they'll spend. I should be using the pawns for this, the special action pawns. But again, they get to place an ally here, and then they get to place number of allies +1 of warbands hidden. They always come in hidden, so 2 there. Number of leaders +1, which is 2 here. Then down here 2 as well, and that is enough to flip control for this. And checking up here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I think this is contested now, unless I miscounted. 1, 2, 3. Okay, no control. And then up here we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 Belgic pieces to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So the Arverni do get control of this, and that is going to take away 2 points from the Belgic player because the Belgic player lost control. Doesn't matter there, doesn't matter here. Okay. And the Arverni player does get an extra point, but it's not tracked here. This is the off-map legions, so that's what they get to track there. That was their march, and now they get, or their rally, excuse me. Wherever possible, they're going to do citadels first, allies next, and warbands. That's what we did. Then they're going to devastate in each region where able to force removal of a legion or 2 auxilia, or at least as many Roman plus Aedui pieces as total Arverni. They're going to devastate. So devastate, remove 1 and 4 Arverni, each other faction 1 and 3 of total of these, and place a devastated marker in each region after that. So it needs to be a place that is an Arverni-controlled region within one region of Vercingetorix. So Vercingetorix is up here. This is the only region that they're able to do that, because within one region they don't have any pieces. So they could devastate there, but again, they're only going to do it if they could force removal of 2 auxilia, and it's 1 in 3 of their pieces, right? Warbands, auxilia, and legion, so not pieces. So 1 in 3, they would only actually remove 1 auxilia there. So that's false, or at least as many Roman and Aedui pieces as Arverni. There aren't any Roman or Aedui people there, so that's an if none. Whomp. They're going to entreat before or after per command. I don't think the entreat is going to happen before, so it's going to happen here. Entreat is regions with hidden Arverni and within one region of... So again, this is the only place possible, because there's hidden Arverni warbands and Vercingetorix. Costs 1 resource. They're going to replace either a warband or auxilia, or if they have control, a Gallic or German ally with its Arverni counterpart. This is strong. So they can replace a warband with their own, or they can replace an ally with their own. They're going to replace enemy allies with Arverni. First Aedui, then Belgic, then Germanic. So they're going to replace Belgic there. Then they're going to replace other enemies with Arverni. They only get to do one thing, so it's an or. Yeah, so we're just going to do this. It'll cost 1 resource for them. They're all the way down here to 2 resources. But they will end up replacing this with one of their own. And that is going to modify... Oh my, okay, so just another note. We got rid of a bunch of Belgic things here. They only have 4 allies on the map, so we need to make sure that our othermost allies goes down here to 4, which the Aedui player does have. So if... Oh my gosh. It's possible then that the Aedui player is going to swoop in here with a victory early on, because they're just going to have enough allies to do the job. Wow. We'll see when the card comes up. Regardless, that was their entreat. We're going to modify faction eligibility. Apologies that this video is like 20 minutes longer than it should, and we still only got through a handful of cards. But, you know, this is a long game, so we're in it for the long haul. Remy Influence is up next, and Renus Bridge is after that. So we might want to pass if this event looks good for us. We'll make that decision next time. I'll check control and everything, victory points after this video. But thanks for watching. Thanks for sticking through it. And hopefully this has been helpful. See you guys next time. And gals, and everyone next time. Bye.